Hey, hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau Jr., and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So, today I want to talk about bad days. And specifically, I want to talk about just that word bad because we use bad very frequently. But the thing about bad is a very vague word. I mean, when you think of bad, what is bad to you? Something that's bad to you may not be so bad to somebody else. And as a leader, we need to be able to identify what bad means to certain people. We need to ask those questions. Because if we ask somebody on our team or a coworker or anybody else that we run across, "Hey, how you doing, How's your day going?" "Oh, man, I'm having a bad day." Well, how do you respond to that? Do you just say, "Oh, man, it's too bad. Hope it gets better," and just keep walking? Or do you take the time? Do you stop and you know, do you ask them, "Hey, do you need to talk about it? Is there something I could do? Is there do you need any help with anything?" Because just by saying, "I'm having a bad day," doesn't identify the specifics of what your bad day is. Now, granted, sometimes we don't like sharing it. But if we're honest enough to tell somebody who asks us how our day's going, and we say, "I'm having a bad day," well, that's kind of, to me, that's kind of a red flag or a yellow flag to say, "Hey, I'm willing to talk about my bad day if you ask." And I'd be willing to bet not too many people ask why. Not too many people ask for specifics. And a lot of times when people are having a bad day, a lot of times all it takes is for somebody to show that they care enough to listen a little bit and allow that person to get it off their shoulders. And it makes them feel a lot better. So that could be you. The question is, will it be you? You know, I'll be the first one to admit that I have not stopped and asked a lot of questions when people have shared with me that they're having a bad day. Now, if it's somebody that I know very well, that's different. I'll take the time. But if it's somebody just in passing, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, terrible. I'm having a bad day." Um, I'm probably not going to pull them aside and say, "Hey, what's going on?" But the older I get, something seems to happen when you get old or older, when you age, right? When you get more experienced. The Bible says all this gray on my head is wisdom, right? So something happens and things that used to be big priorities can wait, especially when you know somebody else is struggling, even if you don't know them. And I'd be willing to bet that a lot of you out there, a lot of you listening to this show, especially, you'd be willing to stop and ask others to explain or ask them if they need to talk or have a cup of coffee or a Dr. Pepper or water or whatever. I think that you're willing to put up the time and ask that question. But just remember, just by saying bad, and it could be with anything. "Hey, I got a bad supervisor. I got a bad troop that I'm leading over here. I got a bad team. I got bad results." Chances are that we're never going to, I don't know, receive adequate training to get a great mentor or role model that's going to teach us to be more specific instead of saying bad. So I invite you, if you are asked that question, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm having a bad day," say, get more specific. Describe the exact details, especially to people that you're close to, because then it puts them in a position to say, "Hey, I might know somebody that can help you," or "I can help you out there. I went through that." So be specific, describe what the bad is in details. And remember, when you say bad, to me, it's really just limiting your growth. And it's something that my wife said. She said, when you say bad, it limits your growth to a point. It doesn't help you improve. And it does not identify the characteristic or the problem that, you know, where you could even understand it. And just think about that. If you say, man, I'm having a bad day, can you explain exactly all the specific details of why it's a bad day? Yeah, you might have had a rough conversation with a customer or with a coworker or with a family member, but what were the specifics of that conversation that made it bad? Was there anything that you could have done differently to make it not so bad? So I don't know. I'm starting to probably ramble a little bit now, but I know that the term bad in itself is very vague and it doesn't really open us up to show that we're willing to grow and learn. So today, just think about that. And if you find yourself saying, man, I had a bad day, think about it a little deeper. If somebody else tells you that, stop and just ask them that question. Hey, is there anything I can do? Or do you want to talk about it? Because that may lift their spirits enough to make it a good day. Hey, tomorrow I think we're going to talk about how I screwed up in one area early in my Air Force career, and I'm going to tell you what I learned from it. And it was a little bit embarrassing, but yeah, I hope you come back for tomorrow. And if this episode today resonated with you, or if you know that somebody else may enjoy hearing it, I invite you to please share it. Share it with somebody else. And I hope to see you back tomorrow. And until then, run to your challenges. We'll see you.